If you want to invest in Airbnbs for financial freedom, but you're overwhelmed and unsure where to start, this episode could save you thousands of dollars. Because one of the biggest reasons Airbnbs fail to get bookings has nothing to do with the property itself, it's the photos. As Airbnb coaches with 14 Airbnbs and hundreds of successful clients, we've seen how the right photos can dramatically increase bookings and cash flow from day one. In this episode, we break down exactly how to make your listing stand out, from finding the right photographer to a simple listing audit you can do to improve your current Airbnb listing in minutes. Let's jump in.
Photos are crucial to the success of your Airbnb. Real estate agents pay top dollar for photos that sell a home once. Your Airbnb photos sell your space over and over again. They're the first step in getting and sustaining bookings.
Please listen to us. iPhone photos will not work. You need professional HDR photos from a trained real estate photographer. If you're wondering, HDR stands for high dynamic range. Basically, this is a technique used to capture a wider range of light and color than just a regular photo. Your photographer will take multiple exposures of the same shot at different brightness levels and merge them together to create a single photo with enhanced detail. This really makes your listing stand out from the crowd. If you're scrolling through Airbnb and all of a sudden a listing just pops, almost Technicolor, but not like weirdly AI, it's because someone had HDR photos taken.
And a pro tip here, don't let your friends or family take these photos for you, even if you feel kind of obligated or feel guilty or it's a good price. We see this way too often, where someone, had a friend or family take the photos and they just weren't happy. So leave it to the professionals here.
Absolutely. This actually happened to two clients that we talked to in the last 2 days. Yeah.
This is just not the best way to launch your listing for maximum engagement and bookings. It can also be stressful.
Absolutely. We get asked all the time, where can I find an Airbnb photographer? The good news is that it's become easier and easier to find them.
All right, I've got 4 tips for finding a professional real estate photographer. Number 1, the easy button is homevisit.com. This is a company that's been around for a long time. They used to only service real estate agents, but in the last couple of years, they've opened their services up to the public. It's like $200 to $300. They have a couple of different packages, and they do this all the time. So it's a service. Home Visit trains local photographers. I can't ever think of a place where they haven't been able to fill in, but this is sort of the corporate approach. Easy, jump in, book with Home Visit. They've got the packages. It's professional. It's a high quality output. I've used them several times and been happy every single time.
Yeah, to the point where, because early on we couldn't book them directly, we would work through our real estate agent to have them book Home Visit for our Airbnbs to be shot.
All right. If you want a little bit more hands-on approach, this is a great hack. This has just come up in the last, 6 months to a year. You can go to Zillow.com, and there's a button that says find an agent. I know you're not looking for an agent, but when you hit find an agent, it'll be a drop down. And one of the subcategories on Zillow for find an agent is professional photographers. And there's usually a list there. It's going to show the photographer and their website. What's nice about this is you can go and you can review their exact portfolio. With Home Visit, you're getting kind of a corporate experience. It's quality controlled. It's great. But with Zillow, you can pick a photographer. You can look at their online portfolios and find what really matches, what really speaks to you, what really excites you. I also feel like you get a little bit more art direction with working directly with one of these photographers. We like to be on site. We'll talk about that. If those 2 aren't a great approach for you, the third is just a simple Google search, right? Just search professional real estate photographer, my town. And hopefully a few will come up. You'll get a couple of ads. There are some competitors to Home Visit. Feel free to check those out, but you may find someone more local with just a Google search. And finally, if that's not working for you, ask your agent, right? Real estate agents employ photographers all the time. Everything that they list needs to be photographed. And they'll often have a favorite.
Yes.
All right, so a couple of considerations here. Consider being on site to stage for the photographer, right? So sometimes we'll leave out fruit baskets or wine, or you get the hot tub turned on.
And the one time I didn't go, again, I'm a little bit of a control freak and a detail person. It was fall. It was a beautiful fall day, and the leaves were falling. And of course, the photographer didn't leaf blow the deck. And so while the pictures were great, there were leaves all over the deck. And that just makes me crazy. And we had to reshoot because I wasn't there to make sure it was to my level of done.
We'll talk about this more, but never be ashamed of the reshoot. So yeah, consider being on site to stage and to give art direction. Maybe there's something that needs cleaned up, or maybe there's something that you really want to make sure to capture. All right. Other things to consider when booking a photographer. Aerials are great for many, many, many properties, right? So the drone photos, they'll take aerial shots. I know it's not for everybody, but aerials are definitely worth investing in. What you don't need to invest in is the video. We can't use it on Airbnb. It tends to be expensive. You might be able to use it for social media, but $150 or so for one or two social media posts, I just don't see the value.
We'll get back to the show in 1 second, but super quick. Are you someone who dreams of financial freedom through Airbnb investing, but you're stuck not knowing where to start? Maybe you've read blogs, watched YouTube videos, even scrolled through listings, but you're still feeling frustrated and unsure how to get started on your investing journey.
So if you're realizing you need help with more than just your photos, that's what Danielle and I do. Head over to hostcoach.co to book a free 30-minute discovery call to learn how we can help you fast track your Airbnb success so you can live the life that you love. All right, back to the show. The last thing is a good do, right? We had a don't. A do is the spatial layouts. You can do this yourself, right? Don't necessarily have to pay your photographer. If you have access to your property, I'm going to tell you in a second how you can do this yourself. If you don't have access, if you're not there, go ahead and pay for the layout from your photographer. What they're most likely going to use, and I love this, is my new favorite app. It's called Kubicasa. Kubicasa. And so this is an app for your phone. And I know what you're thinking. I've used spatial apps or measuring apps on the phone, and it's going to be janky.
I always hate them. They never work.
But it isn't. I guess it's an AI thing. I'm not sure exactly how they figured it out.
It's magic.
But basically, you take your phone with the app and you just slowly walk around the house with it. And they'll give you some specific instructions. But it works really great, and it captures the whole inside. And I had a photographer do it recently, and I never thought to do this. He walked around the outside and it picked up the deck area,
Outbuilding,
fire pit. So there's 3 tiers to Kubicasa. The first is free. This is a simple black and white dimensional layout, which is a great place for planning. I like to do this when we first get closed on a place, walk around and get the free, simple black and white layout, because it's going to give you dimensions in all the rooms. And Danielle she's always like, is that couch going to fit?
Right. Does the couch fit? Can I squeeze a king bed in there based on window position, closet doors? And instead of having to drive 2.5 hours to the top of a mountain with my measuring tape again, I can see it, visualize it. It's wonderful.
I used to sit there with the graph paper and try to draw out the rooms and take the measurements. It's a huge headache. It's free and simple. You walk around with your phone and you've got this black and white layout with all the dimensions. All right, the next upgrade is for $15. I think they call it their plus tier. This is going to add color, and it's going to give you line drawings of the fixtures in the property. So it's going to show you where the countertops are, where the doors are, windows, all that kind of stuff. That's usually what we do. They've added a third option now, which is a 3D option, and I'm kind of in love with this. We haven't done it yet. So this is a $65 option. It's full color. It's a full 3D representation of the property with all of the furnishings. So this would be my last step version. Your furniture is going to be shown in 3D in color, and this is going to be a great addition to the photo section of your photo tour.
And aside from just, standing out in photo tour, I can't tell you how many times I've received a message where guests are like, hey, where is the bedroom in relation to the sauna? Is there a bedroom on the first floor because we have someone with mobility issues? Is the king bedroom a loft? Are there doors or not? These are all very legitimate questions. And when you're living in a space, decorating a space, launching a space, you know everything about it. And you sort of assume your guests will look at your amazing pictures and figure it out. But having that 3D representation, or actually any of the Kubicasa representations, really helps a guest who has specific questions about where things are. Like, is there a room close enough that I can have my child and baby monitor? Anything like that, they can see it, and therefore they're more likely to book, and you get less questions.
Right. If they're having that question about 2 or 3 different listings and you've got the layout and you're answering those questions while people are making that buying decision late at night, you're going to get booked. Super great ROI.
Absolutely. Okay, if you're listening and you're like, well, you know what? I'm on it. I already have professional HDR photos. Guess what? It's time to do a 4-step audit of your current Airbnb listing. Step one, are you an Airbnb photo tour jail? If so, you need to get out. Airbnb just sort of automatically shoves everybody into this photo tour, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me as a user, and it doesn't work for your potential guests. So I'm sure you're like, well, how do I get out of this auto tour? Well, you get out by moving all of your listing photos into the additional photos section and then arranging them with your very best photos at the beginning. So instead of someone seeing you in auto tour and it's like bedroom, kitchen, they get to see the 5 photos that really represent what makes your place special.
This photo tour kind of kills conversions. I've experienced this where we've got our cover photo and our first 3 or 4 photos, and oh, look at that great outdoor fire pit area or hot tub area. And I click on that, and what I get is 5 pictures of the master bedroom, followed by 5 pictures of the second bedroom, followed by 5 pictures of the living room. And now I've lost that piece of the experience, that hot tub or fire pit. It's a conversion killer.
So, yeah, again, think of the 5 photos that you would use if you were limited to using 5 on a postcard, or you could only text your friend 5 photos to get them to book your place. Those are the ones that you want to put at the very top of your photos in the new layout of your listing. All right. Step number 2 of this audit. Do you have a guest testimonial as one of your photos? This is super easy. You can use Canva or any other sort of layout software.
You don't even need to do that. I just take a snip of it with the snipping tool in Windows, or I guess Mac probably has a similar thing. Just take a snip of that testimonial that really highlights the uniqueness of your property, and you can put that as one of your photo tiles.
For example, we loved the sunset. We loved sitting in the sauna. The hot tub was amazing. Just the things that you want potential guests to know. And it's so much more believable when it's a third party review as opposed to you saying how great your
It's
place
social
is.
proof.
It's social proof. All right, audit step number 3. As Cullen mentioned, do you have a professional layout of your space? If you don't, download Kubicasa, walk around, upload it, and watch your bookings uptick. Finally, step number 4, do you have a you are here photo showing the location? Like the little arrow things that's like, you are here. This is really helpful if you're at the beach. Where are you off of the beach? Where are you from the beach access? This is really beautiful if you're on top of a mountain and showing seclusion. Like you are here means wow. Or if you're in proximity to anything people really want to get to, the Appalachian Trail, a theme park, wineries, whatever it is, showing where you are really helps guests understand why your location is where they want to stay.
All right. Pro tip, it is so important to retake your photos every few years. Take the photos in different seasons. If you took them in the spring, think about taking them in the fall. If you took them in the fall, think about taking them in the winter. You're going to get new amenities over time. You're going to add a sauna, a fire pit, hang basket chairs. You're going to realize what needs to get emphasized based on your guest avatar. Maybe you didn't realize you were going to get so many business travelers. So get in there and get that close up of the standing desk. Or maybe you didn't realize you were going to get as many families. Get some more close ups of the games, right? Look at your past reviews and private feedback. What do guests love that you may not have known was going to be a highlight when you first listed? Don't feel bad about reshooting. Get in there every couple of years, get new stuff, get fresh stuff. You can always be able to better deal a photo. Even if you love your photos, there's going to be one we're just continuously trying to improve this visual experience.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about how to prepare for photos to be taken by your professional photographer. First up, deep clean. Have your housekeeper come in and pay special attention to windows, mirrors, and light fixtures because those are the things that allow light in, reflect the light, cast the light, and the cleaner they are, the more beautiful photos you will have. Turn on every single light in your house, even the lights in the closets, lights on desks, end tables. As many lights as you can turn them all on. Make sure that all of your blinds and curtains are open. Again, we want the natural light, hopefully views of beautiful things coming through. Make sure all your duvets and pillows are wrinkle-free. Yes, I'm a little bit of a detail person. I bring my steamer and I make sure that everything is like hotel perfect because that's what we all want. None of us have perfectly, at least we don't have wrinkle-free pillowcases on our bed that we sleep in every night. We want that far, far away, perfect experience.
And that's just a little segue back to the reshoot, which is a lot of times we're in a huge rush. And I didn't really touch on this. Usually, when we're setting up your Airbnb listing, and if you've got one, I'm sure you can relate, it's just a mad dash, right? You're trying to get all this stuff ready, and maybe you didn't have time to turn on all those lights or didn't think to steam those duvets. It's a great reason to come back and reshoot.
Another thing is just declutter. The things that you must remove that you may not think about, garbage cans. If there's a garbage can in any room, including the kitchen, hide it, throw it in a closet. Fire extinguishers need to be put away. Your kitchen counters, hide the rolls of paper towels, sponges, anything that you can get rid of to make it just a clear space that, this isn't my home kitchen feeling. That's what we're looking for. Also, on the topic of clutter, remove any yard clutter visible through the windows. So many times I can look at people's listings and they have amazing pictures. But if you look out the window of the bedroom or the living room, there's a trash can, there's a wheelbarrow, there's a pile of stuff they're planning to take to the dump after this photo shoot, but they didn't realize you can actually see it through their window. Put some fresh plants on your porch, even if they won't be there year round. Having some greenery on your porch and throughout the house really helps with your pictures and making it organic and welcoming. Colin mentioned earlier, we do stage, not heavily, but we'll put a glass of wine and a cheese plate on our patio or in front of the fireplace. And the reason we do this is you want people looking at your photos to want to be there in that moment. You're selling the dream. You're giving them the emotional desire that drives booking your place so that they can have that experience. They can drink that glass of wine looking at that sunset in the hot tub. I mean, that's the dream. That's what everybody wants.
And turn on that fire pit.
Yes.
Another sort of sidebar here is what you may not get from your professional photographer is that shot around your fire pit. Because if they're shooting in bright daylight, a trip that I do when I shoot our fire pits is build a fire kind of earlier in dusk and shoot it like every 10 or 15 minutes, because the ambient light versus what you get on the camera is different. That timing seems to be different. So shoot it every like 10 minutes or so until it gets completely dark and you'll find just the right exposure.
And the same goes for sunrise and sunsets. You can have the world's most amazing photographer. Unless you pay them to sleep there, they're not going to be there to capture the sunrise and sunset, which are some of the most beautiful pictures and aspirational pictures that your guests want to have and want to see. Finally, Cullen touched on it a little bit, but I really like to look through my phone before a photographer comes and figure out my favorite photos that I've taken. And without being like a complete nut control freak, I share one or two of my favorite photos to make sure they capture that same angle. For example, one of our places, I don't know what made me do this, but I was trying to show this bank of windows looking out at the mountains, but also show this is a huge living room with multiple couches and a hallway connecting. And the only way I could show all of that was to open the front door and stand outside of it and shoot inward. And so I shared that with our photographer. I was like, hey, I know you know what you're doing, but if you could recreate this, here's how I did it. And his version ended up being the hero image of that particular cabin.
All right, here's some more hands-on kind of stuff. Once you've got all these photos, are they stored only on your listing? Because that can be a recipe for a headache. Make sure you make a backup off a platform of all of your photos, your photo descriptions, the captions, and a copy of your listing description, just in case something happens to the listing, Airbnb could glitch out, or you need to recreate it in a hurry, or even go to another platform. So there you have it. Professional photos are the best return on investment you can make in your listing. They're not expensive, usually only about $300 per shoot. So keep in mind that 2 sets of photographers are better than 1. Also consider this an ongoing investment. You'll always find that better shot with better lighting or time of year to highlight your listing. Remember, guests don't get to visit your property before booking. So your photo section is the sole visual representation of your offering. Please subscribe to the Host Coach Show and share this episode with anybody you know that could benefit from it. And remember,
our joy is in your success.